Hi, folks. Welcome to another Massachusetts Pirate News. We want to thank everyone for joining us today on this wonderful Halloween. I'm joined today by Malt and Joe. How are you folks doing?
Hey,
Hail Satan!
happy
Now is the
Halloween.
night of chaos!
Turtles all the way down.
I'm feeling
Uh,
fine. Fat and happy.
I've got the best sugar rush going on with daddy duty. So it's good. It's good. Just load the kids up with sugar, let them run around for a few hours. They're happy. I'm happy. Everybody's happy. So a bit of local news.
mhm.
That's a little bit more morbid that I wanted to start off with tonight. The famous announcer for the Boston Red Sox did pass away. So much love out to him and his family, and been a very much a huge part of Boston culture and mass culture. So sending out love out that direction.
Absolutely. For folks who are available to join us on next Saturday, we're going to be meeting in the Seaport District in Boston by the Congress Street entrance of the World Trade Center Silver Line stop. And we're going to finish mapping all the surveillance cameras in the Seaport District. So we hope you'll join us next Saturday. You can go. I mean, if you're looking at this, you'll likely see from the initial image what we've done with only a small number of people, with about 4 people, and we're hoping to get more and wrap up that part of Boston. So please come on down next Saturday, 11 o'clock, in front of the Congress Street entrance of the World Trade Center Silver Line stop. So in terms of other things that are going on, so one thing that's near and dear to our heart is, of course, right to repair. And as those who were around in 2020, we passed a right to repair bill in Massachusetts that basically says any telematics data that your car gathers and then sends over the airwaves back to the manufacturer, that information has to be given to the service station you choose, since it's your car, rather than only being available to dealers and things like that. So what recently came up, Malt, with that?
So Subaru has this over-the-air update service that they call Starlink. And initially, they claimed that it would be, they argued against this law by claiming that it would be infeasible for them to disable it for cars sold only in Massachusetts. Well, surprise, surprise, those lying liars lied. And now, moving forward, all Subarus sold in Massachusetts will have Starlink disabled. So instead of providing the information, they're just cutting off their noses. They are lowering the bar for everyone because they didn't get their way.
So what is the benefit of this Starlink anyways? Why would
Well,
anyone care?
I mean, the idea is they have information at your car ready to go, although literally they could just plug in a USB dongle and get all the information. But, they also have where you go potentially and all of that, which is privacy implications. I mean, the thing that I find, sorry, go on.
So I was just going to say that's a major win then, because now your privacy is not being randomly downloaded. Yes.
I mean, there is that. The like we know from how easy it is to hack the key fob, like unlock the door type key fobs, how easy that is to hack, we can only imagine how easy it is now to hack these other cars.
Or you could hack a whole group of them.
Gone in 60 seconds. Italian Job style. Paul Walker, baby. Woo!
But one thing I find interesting is that the automobile, whatever advocacy organization that's trying to fight this and not comply with the law is saying, oh no, we can't make an exception for Massachusetts. That'll be too hard. And now Subaru made an exception for Massachusetts. It's not the exception, your service center wanted or your dealership wanted, but it is an exception. So that argument goes out the window potentially. We'll see. So another thing came out with Signal recently.
Yeah. So Signal has been subpoenaed again, demanding Signal user data, covering things like target's name, address, correspondence, contacts, groups, calls. None of that information which is stored by Signal. Not stored, not accessed. So there's just really no going forward with this.
So yet again, Signal wins the day and doesn't gather information on you. Yay!
Yep.
Another thing that popped out that I saw over Twitter is this app called deface.app. Someone has used is trained a neural network such that you go to this app and it downloads a JavaScript library into your browser. You can then upload not so much upload, but you can load in an image into your browser, and then it will redact the faces within your browser, and you can go and export or save the resulting file out going forward. And they say it redacts faces privately using neural network face detection in your browser. So obviously you have to trust that they're doing that and not surreptitiously sending your image elsewhere. It looks like it was funded by the NGIO Pet Fund, so in the Netherlands. So it's not a corporation that's doing it. It's just
I'm trying to get on the website now to show folks how it works, and I'm getting an alert saying the connection is not private. The security certificate has an invalid date.
Deface.app?
Yeah. The problem with the certificate. That'll probably be resolved in a few hours. So womp womp.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that, but that could be something else. I put it in the chat for folks to take a look. It's at deface.app. So we do have elections coming up on Tuesday.
Okay. Sorry, my mistake is I went DE face. Never mind. My bad.
Yeah, there's a 70s TV or 80s TV joke in there, but I'm not going to make it. Anyhow. So Boston is having elections, Somerville, Cambridge, Worcester, Lowell. Thoughts?
So vote pirate.
For Worcester, I really need everyone check out the voting guide released by Worcester Hates You. So for the councillor at large seats, you want to look for Thu Nguyen and Guillermo Creamer Jr. These are both staunch progressives. Thu's an amazing artist and an amazing community organizer. Christian King is okay. Bill Coleman and Peter Stefan are both good. These are the names you want. Peter Stefan, Thu Wynn, Guillermo Creamer Jr., Christian King, Bill Coleman. They will be appearing in that order on your ballot. For mayor, I mean, Petty is a snooze. Bill Coleman has been running since the 70s. Peter Stefan is a local, um, oh my God, funeral parlor director. I think he's running as mayor because he's like tired of working so hard with COVID. For District 1, you definitely want to go with Sean Rose over Richard Ciprio. I'm going to talk for a minute about this Ciprio character because he's a dirtbag. He runs the local police union for Worcester, and they've got an open Facebook page, and I really suggest everyone check it out because it is full of some racist bullshit. Like the worst Facebook stereotype you can imagine. They've got it going. Richard Ciprio was a member of the SWAT team that held a naked woman and her children at gunpoint while they ransacked their apartment, only for it to turn out to be like the wrong address. Ciprio also had his wife send a letter to voters encouraging them to vote for him. So the thing about Mrs. Ciprio is that she was arrested and pepper sprayed after assaulting a police officer who was trying to arrest her for driving drunk to her son's summer camp. So, like, Jesus, what a bunch of hypocrites. Just a bunch of the worst type of hypocrites imaginable. For District 5, we definitely suggest Etel. Oh my God. I forgot to check the pronunciation before we went on air. Etel H over Gregory Stratman. Stratman's another retired cop. We for District 2, Joanna Hampton Dance over Candy Merrow Carlson. Candy had the mailing that went out on the last election where she misspelled Worcester's name. So for the school committee members, Jermaine Johnson, Molly McCulloch, Susan Mailman, Jermo Kamara, Laura Clancy, and Tracy O'Connell Novick. We suggest these 6. Diana Biancheria, no. Chanel Susi is a QAnon crackpot who thinks that gays are caused by demon infestation. So, hell no to the H, to the E, to the LL, no. No.
And just to be clear, we haven't actually voted to endorse anyone in any of these elections. But, if Malt says it, then he knows Worcester better than I do.
That's not quite true. Joanna Hampton Dance, we did vote to Joanna. That's not her name. Joanna Hampton Dance. We voted to endorse her. I thought there was someone else, but I'm not seeing the name.
Thanks for correcting me.
It's been a crazy few months.
That it has. Joe, what about in your neck of the woods? Anyone you recommend?
I absolutely do not endorse anyone because they have no problem with spying on you, setting up cameras everywhere, and all around using whatever tactic necessary. However, Lowell is almost a peaceful place.
I like
But
Lowell.
They built a giant courthouse with all that government money. With a sky prison. An oubliette.
Sky prison?
The prison is on top of the building. So the prisoners are at the top with no windows or doors. To get out.
Ooh.
No windows.
Or
That is
doors.
inhumane.
That's what I understood.
In East Cambridge, there's some, I think it's 18-story building that was once a jail and a courthouse. And the prisoners were on the top floor, but they at least had windows.
I think when they're eating,
it wasn't a good jail from what I've heard.
they're in there, they're locked in there so that That way they can get them easily into the courtroom without walking them past the families. So I kind of get it, but at the same time, ooh.
I think Worcester is still moving forward with its plan to just give cops $5,000.
For what?
Great question. Like, we've got all this COVID money and it's going to expire. And instead of like having to go through the onerous bidding process, they're just going to give it to cops in order to buy votes from the police union, which is basically like a fascist adjacent, like, good old boys club anyway. So
No, I heard rumors about there being a essential workers money for essential workers. Is that just rumor?
I've not heard anything.
As far as I know, the legislature was still working on dispersing the federal money.
Because that would be great. All of my guys would get that essential money, seeing that we're essential general labor. It would be awesome. It would be so good to give my guys more money because they deserve it. They truly do. And so do all the other essential workers. I want to see that money for all the people that was working those market basket jobs and those supermarket jobs getting paid nothing to get that money.
If someone yelled at you without a mask, you deserve $5,000. Like, if I don't even want to think about it. Let's talk about something nice.
Happy
So
Halloween.
in Boston, some folks have put together a Google spreadsheet called the Boston Open Election Results Portal. And they have various people in various wards who have committed to gather so for those of you who don't know, once they've closed the polling place down, anyone who's in the polling place who is from a campaign or a poll watcher or something like that can request a copy of the vote tabulation. And they basically have a ticker tape that comes out. It's like a giant receipt. Literally, it's like this long, depending upon the number of elections, of course, that lists all the results. And so these folks have committed to entering the results in for each of the candidates in the Boston mayoral and district elections. And so I thought that was just an interesting crowdsourced way of doing that.
Now, quick question. I know that there was some stuff going on with them clearing out down in Boston on Washington Street, I believe. So they were clearing out
Mass and
Washington?
It's Massachusetts Avenue and sorry, I'll get it.
Right off of 90.
Maria
Right?
Cass Boulevard.
That's right off of 90 if you're coming in.
Yeah, 90 and 93. They're both around there.
So
that's in the intersection between, I think, South End and Roxbury.
I was
so
told
that go on.
It was that the reason the folks were there in the first place was because that's at the intersection of 4 different police districts. So they all just get pushed there in the first place.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like, don't want to deal with that problem, just go right there. That's basically the gateway to the middle of nowhere, because that's when you're destitute, that's where they keep on bouncing until you hit there. That's rock bottom.
Yeah, that's a very, at least when I was growing up around there, that was a very industrial area. But as Boston further gentrifies and as the South End, the gentrification that started in the South End in like the 70s and 80s and 90s is pushing further out towards that area. There's been some talk that someone wants to redevelop that area. And so, it's for those developers, having homeless people is undesirable. Of course, we are getting that federal money, so we could make sure that there are no homeless and they have a place to live. We do have more places for people to live than people to be in them in the United States.
Like, every study that comes out shows that it is by far cheaper to just give people housing. It gets them back on their feet faster. They use less public resources. They suffer less. There was a similar incident in Worcester about a week back. The city came and cleared out a homeless encampment behind Walmart with a bulldozer. Just just drove over the friggin' tents. And again, those are people who don't want to be in the shelter system because it's not great. Like, you can't stay with your family. You can't keep your pet. You can't keep your belongings. It's not a workable solution.
What little belongings you have left at that point.
I mean, yeah, that too.
Yeah, but I mean, that's theft, right? We talk a lot, they're always talking about, oh, people are stealing. Like, that was the big thing that was in the summer. They're like, oh no, people, kids are going in and they're shoplifting. Oh, moral panic. And now we have government coming in, the police coming in and destroying the few possessions that people have. How is that in any way legal?
Yeah, nah, it's gross. Like, the state has carte blanche to use violence against you if you have no house. Because to them, you are a non-person. If you're a non-voter, a payer of fees, you're just a non-person.
And as you said, if everyone had a house, had a place to live, it's easier to give them services. They're more stable. You can make sure that they're well fed. They get medical care. It just makes life so much easier. But in this country, cruelty is the objective. So one last thing to talk about. So I saw this on Twitter. I want to. It came out from a friend of mine by the name of Regis. Shout out to Regis Donovan, who's, as always, an excellent person. And so there was a 3,500-year-old amber bear that someone carved during the Neolithic age out of amber. And now it's 2021, and someone saw a picture of that, and they did a 3D model of it, which they then printed out and then they made a mold using, here, I could probably just show you the pictures, right? We are at that age, right?
I think it's just a matter of sharing the screen.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to do. So anyways, this is the 3D print that I guess Alan made. This is the mold that he made of them. They're all food acceptable molds, and this is the original. And from that, he was able to make Coca-Cola gummies.
Just like out of 2 photos, he freehand sculpted that in a 3D program. I think that's incredible. You've also got to wonder if it was any easier to carve the amber back then, because it's so much younger, Like, maybe it's still a little goopy, like cake fresh out of the oven. Anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, they might have been able to heat it up enough that it softened. I'm not sure about the whole consistency of amber is what, sap that has hardened over millions of years, right? So
it is. I think it's fascinating that Jurassic Park permanently increased the value and price of amber. That it was
really,
it was actually like a fairly low, not a well-respected gemstone, because I think it doesn't hold a shine particularly well, or it gets scuffed easy. But yeah, all it took was just one silly dinosaur movie, and now people want it because ancient DNA, or who knows.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I draw from this is just simply that we have something that was created 3,500 years ago, and through the technology that we have, someone is able to make a copy of it, and potentially, if they so choose, make that copy available to millions who could then make their own, um, you know, make their own gummy copies of, or not gummy copies
Or
of
Jello shots.
this 3,500-year-old artifact, and how culture, that we are in the age of readily being able to copy culture, and there's no reason we should stop that. And it's a way of preserving our past history.
3,500-year-old gummy shots.
I will say that there was, at the beginning of the pandemic, a huge collection of Smithsonian artifacts released as 3D printer files. So Sketchfab announced plans to allow organizations to waive all copyright and dedicate their digital models to the public domain. To mark this milestone in museum digitalization and accessibility efforts, the 3D portal has released a new virtual collection of 1,700 models available to the public to download, print, or manipulate. So this includes fossils, famous artworks, like some of the best stuff the Smithsonian has. If I'm remembering correctly, this is the same collection that has the Etruscan boar vessel that has gone viral on Twitter.
Do you have a link for that I can share?
Yes, Smithsonian Magazine. There we go.
Thank
It'd be
you.
really cool to see that, like with an Oculus or something like that, where you're immersed in the 3D.
In the metaverse, you mean?
Oh, my soul.
So, okay,
Say no.
this collection contains 27 cultural organizations from 13 different countries, including the Minneapolis Institute of Art, the National Gallery of Denmark, Spain's Museus de Stiges, and the Scottish Maritime Museum. Oh man, if you want the Abraham Lincoln Mills life mask, they got you.
Wow.
A
So next
Tyrannosaurus.
year we'll 3D print that and we'll use it for Halloween.
Ay.
And on that note, I want to thank the two of you, Joe and Malt, for joining me here on Pirate News. I want to thank everyone who stuck around for the live stream, and everyone who's coming in after the live stream to watch it, not in real time. Please do join us next Saturday at 11 a.m. In the Boston Seaport District. We're going to meet in front of the Congress Street entrance of the World Trade Center Silver Line MBTA stop, and then we're going to go out and we're going to map the rest of the surveillance cameras in the Seaport District. So please do join us for that. As always, you can find us at masspirates.org. Please like this video if you did, and subscribe, and click that bell and all. So on that, I will say adieu. Any last words, gentlemen?
Thank you, and come again.
Take care, all. Thank you very much, and happy Halloween. Have a wonderful week.
Happy Halloween.
We are clear. 29